Welcome back to Bronco Nation Live. I'm Nick Wade. Today we're hitting every corner of Boise State athletics, beach volleyball, making history, gymnastics, punching tickets to regionals, uh, football pro day standouts, and yes, RJ Keene moving on from Boise State basketball. If you're watching on YouTube, hop in the chat with your questions and your hot takes, and we'll work them into the show. Let's get into it.
My name is Josh Fife. I am filling in for Sam tonight, who had other obligations. So, Nick, thank you for letting me jump in and be a part of the Bronco Nation for a night.
All right. Well, Josh is a major contributor to the channel. He's one of our a very valued member of the panel of our bourbon, beer, and basketball show. So really appreciate you showing up in short notice. Thank you, my friend.
Happy to be here.
Yep. How are your brackets doing on the personal side outside of the BBB?
Listen, Nick, I'm a multi-bracket guy, so I've got a couple that are up there, but the one that I always fill out that's like the bracket, terrible, just terrible. Florida did me in, and listen, outside of Boise State, I'm a Carolina guy, and I had Duke going all the way. What was I? I don't think they're going to do it now. So sorry, all my Tar Heel family out there. Duke looked good, and now it doesn't look so good. So
I was going to say my condolences to North Carolina, and now they're looking for a new coach. So hopefully they find the right fit, and maybe part of the bloodline, and so another one that they could get in there and be a future Hall of Famer, like the ones they've had in the past.
They're pretty family oriented, and Kenny the Jet Smith gave a pretty impassioned speech tonight on the halftime show. So I imagine they'll stick in the family.
All right, Josh, let's roll. Beach volleyball. So when you break records and win Big 12 awards, people notice. Ava Anderson and Addison Wolden became the winningest duo in Boise State history with 30 wins last weekend. We just had them on the Bronco Talk Show, and they delivered exactly the energy you'd expect from record setters. At the Death Volley Invitational, Boise State battled 4 ranked teams, 3 matches decided 3-2. Avery Allen and Kira Demeron went 4-0, all straight sets, earning Big 12 Pair of the Week, the first in program history. They're now 7-1 as a pair and head into the Big 12 midseason seeding tournament with serious momentum. Overall, the Broncos are 7-9 going into the tournament, and will be facing Florida State, Arizona, and TCU. 8 of those losses have been against ranked opponents. They've had a massively incredible, challenging gauntlet that they've gone through, leveling up here in the Big 12. So records don't fall by accident. This team is built for the Big 12. If you want more stories like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and so you don't miss the next Bronco Talk Show.
Beach volleyball in Boise, Idaho. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I
love it. That's awesome. Well, speaking of records, Nick, they are there. It's fun. And I mean, I think listening to their head coach earlier this season, he wanted those tough games to build that sort of stamina that it's going to take to compete in the Big 12. It's awesome. Well, speaking of records, they don't fall by accident. This team is sorry, I'm on to the next thing. Sorry, Nick. Men's tennis is where I'm going next. So,
all right.
If you like sweeps, Boise State's serving them like a diner on Sunday morning. Broncos 17-6 this year, ranked number 64 nationally, and just got under Mountain West play. They're currently sitting 1-1. They do have 9 sweeps this season, the most since 2021, a program record. This weekend, the Broncos have a chance to keep things going strong when they face the bottom 2 teams in the Mountain West. They'll take on Air Force Thursday at 11 a.m. Air Force currently sits 4-8 overall and are 0-1 in the Mountain West, currently on a 4-match skid, and the Broncos will take on New Mexico on Saturday at noon. New Mexico sits 5-11 and 0-1 in the conference. This is one of these things the Broncos don't want to take Air Force lightly. They have ranked wins over Grand Canyon, who currently sits number 61, and BYU, who sits number 63. But Boise State has won 6 straight in this series. And at New Mexico, the Broncos have a 25-14 all-time edge. Sonderquist, one of the guys for tennis, new to this tennis team, pretty exciting, very high tennis IQ. He's 1 win from 20, and coming off the heels of a freshman of the week honors just a couple weeks ago. And then Carson Baker and Avery Tollickson, 2 wins from 20 together. So this team is rolling, going into Air Force, a lot of confidence. They keep it up. Mountain West gets interesting for the men's tennis team.
Gotta love the conference play, man. So in the women's side, winning streaks are cool, but winning streaks with a number 1 player on fire, that's different. Broncos beat number 63 Grand Canyon 4-0 last week, and also number 31 San Diego State 4-1. So they've won 11 straight. They're rolling with 11 straight wins, 13 straight versus Mountain West opponents. That's domination, if you ask me. They are currently ranked top 50 nationally, and it all starts with the star, Zdena Safarova. Zdena has 7 straight wins at number 1 singles, 30 career wins at number 1, 4th most in program history. She's coming off back-to-back Mountain West Player of the Week honors, 6th of her career. Polikova and Safarova, their doubles team, they've also got a nice little streak going, 6 straight wins. And next up, they take on some more Mountain West foes, Nevada and UNLV at the Appleton. Safarova is playing like a Conference Player of the Year candidate, and Boise State is playing like a tournament team.
Take over Nevada again, and got to do it in tennis. We've done it in other sports. Let's go, women.
I love it. Let's do it.
Moving on over to track and field. It's where raw speed meets power, and Boise State in this world has both. 3 Mountain West indoor titles, with Landon Helms taking the heptathlon title, Raekwon Weatherspoon taking the long jump title, Kaya Robertson, 800-meter final, domination there. Overall, the Broncos finished with 7 podium finished and had 8 all Mountain West selections, along with 2 qualifiers to the NCAA indoors. And speaking of the 2 names in particular who lit up the track, Kaya Robertson earned 2nd team All-American honors at the Division I Indoor Track and Field Championship. She finished 14th in the mile prelim round, the time of 4:40, which also earned her 2nd All-American honor, her first being last year at the Outdoor Championships. And on the men's side, Landon Helms also earned 2nd team All-American honors when he set his PR in both the 60-meter and the high jump, and he finished in 12th place that day. He followed up day 1 with a day 2 opening PR in the 60-meter hurdles and finished the total meet in 15th place, which again earned him 2nd team All-American honors for the 2nd time in his career. Outdoor season resumes April 3rd with a split squad going to UNLV, Stanford, and I think San Francisco. And Boise State is going to host the Ed Jacoby Invitational Friday, April 24th. Go to broncosports.com to get your tickets there. Super fun. And finally, the Mountain West Outdoors Championships gets going on May 14th through the 16th, and that's taking place in Fresno this year. And the Outdoor Championships wrap up in Eugene, as always, June 10th through the 13th. Momentum in March becomes medals in May, and this group is right on schedule.
Yeah, I'm going to have to remember to get our guy Phenom in the hurdles, Chase Lawyer, back on a Bronco talk and get maybe Landon in there, and because what they're doing there with that program, they're turning it around and they're building that hardware.
It's exciting. And just personal note, where old acquaintances with Marissa Howard and that crew, and so it's cool to see some of the old Broncos coming back, stepping in and contributing as coaches. It's a fun time for Bronco sports in the track and field world.
Just think, we may be watching some some future Olympic athletes right here in Boise, Idaho.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Also, more important that the Olympic sports stay a focus in this NCAA NIL world.
Yep. And going into the Conference of Champions, the Pac-12, they're known for those championship and Olympic programs. So we got to step our game up and get there.
That's right. And let's not be surprised when some of those teams that left come on back, baby.
Mm-hmm. Cal, Stanford.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say names, but.
All right. Gymnastics. They wrapped everything up last weekend. When your best routines come at the end of the season, that's championship DNA. So the Broncos finished runner-up in the Mountain West Championship with a score of 196.200. They posted a season best, 49.225 on the beam, sixth highest in program history. They also posted a season best of 49.200 on bars, and then also on the floor they posted 49.0. I really thought they were going to pull that off and get that third championship.
So close,
but so close by like 200 points or however that 2/10 of a point. 2/10 of a point. It's so microscopic.
200 thousandths, if you want to go that way.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, better man than me. But anyway, they set an attendance record this year. They averaged 2,310, and that is a program best. So awesome job, Bronco Nation, supporting these women. Individual highlights from the championship: Sydney Whipple, freshman. She's got a bright future, local product. She posted a 9.9 on the beam, her career high in her short career. You had Christina Shenikova. She posted a 9.875 on the beam and a 9.825 on the bars and floor. So she had a really good night. You had Carly Buell and Ball, and then Kylie Hamby, all with 9.850 on the bars. You had Maria Nero with the 9.8 on the vault, 9.850 on the beam. Really awesome for that freshman too. She's going to be a superstar in the future too. She's going to be a big time overall threat in the years to come. And then senior Blake Pascal, she posted a 9.800 on the floor routine. And like I started this out, this team was building momentum. It's a young team. Yes, there are some seniors, but the ones that were the real major, all younger freshmen, sophomores, and they really started building momentum and posting season best as each week went by, and that really shows what kind of a improvement does for your team, and then also the individuals reap rewards. So NCAA regional qualifiers were Sydney Coe on the beam, Christina Shenikova on the bars. That's a no-brainer from what she's been doing in the last few weeks. She just really stepped it up, and she had an excellent season. And then Malia Werline on the bars, and she had been progressively doing excellent on the bars. And so all three of these are no surprise to get qualified. I was a little bit surprised that Sydney Whipple didn't get a qualifier, because she really came on strong after getting her first exhibition like 4 meets in, and then after that she took her rightful place in the routine. So yeah, 3. Go ahead.
Really was pulling for her, just being a Meridian product, so close to home. Really cool to see. But I think, Nick, there's probably a good school of thought out there that you almost want to be careful with such a young team and getting such high accolades so early. There might be something to walk through some fire to earn that later on in your career, and not just be there from the start. Not that we don't want them to win every meet they go out and compete in, but It's exciting for them too. Lot, like you said, young team, and really cool to see Whipple having a great start to her career.
Yeah, I mean, we started following her, I don't know, a couple years back when she committed. She committed really early, and ever since then, we were able to watch her progress in the local gym here on Instagram. And she's a great follow. If you're on Instagram, go find Sydney Whipple, give her some support. And it's a lot like basketball. It's a long season in terms of gymnastics and what goes into it, how technical it is, how much of a mental grind it is. And then, so like you said, it's better to kind of gradually get into there. And then, so by the end of the season, they're hitting all their marks, and they've got all the bugs all worked out. So, yep. So three Broncos heading to regionals. All three have a real shot at nationals. This is a program peaking at the right time for these three.
Excellent. Well, peaking programs, another one is the men's golf team. When you have a consistent lineup, every tournament feels like moving day. So Broncos just competed in the Oregon Duck Invitational. They finished 8th, which they were led by Luke Cushman. He tied for 7th. It was his first top 10 of the season, 4th of his career. Ruick, Knight, Gardner all tied for 41st. Broncos are now 73, 43, and 3 on the season. Actually, the Broncos teed up today for their next tournament at the Goodwin at Stanford, one of the more prestigious collegiate golf tournaments. It's a 30-team field, and there were 7 Mountain West opponents. I did check how they started today, and it wasn't the greatest start. They finished the day at plus 18 and are alone in 29th out of 30 teams present, but Ruick continued his good golf. He had a good day. He shot 69, good for a 1 under. And New Mexico actually leads the Mountain West competition after day 1. Earlier at 5:30 p.m., they were sitting in 8th place, although they did have a few holes left to finish up. Ruick, he's got 6 top 10 finishes, 2 individual titles, and is actually ranked number 176 nationally. He's an exciting golfer in the, I would say, at least in recent memory, historic golf for Boise State. They've had a couple big names go on, and I know those guys come back and visit, which is really cool for some of the Boise State golfers now. So Boise State golf trending upward, and hopefully tomorrow they can get it going at the Goodwin. It's a great stage to prove it with a lot of eyes on Stanford this week.
Well, Bronco Nation Live is brought to you by Crosby Custom Coatings, your expert since 1979. Don't forget, hit subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're 259 subscribers away from monetization for revenue sharing with Boise State Athletics.
When it comes to painting, precision matters. Crosby Custom Coatings, led by Scott Crosby since 1979, delivers elite craftsmanship for homes and businesses across Boise. With attention to detail and a commitment to excellence, they make every surface shine. Call Crosby Custom Coating today at 208-370-4696 and bring color and quality to your world. That's 208-370-4696.
And welcome back. Why don't we talk a little bit about softball? They're in the thick of things. If you like late inning drama, Boise State softball is your team.
Or gray hair.
Bronco, yeah. You just got to have it. It really fine tunes your patience. It really does. So no leaving the yard early because they're never quite out of it. If they still got a pulse in the 5th inning and after that, then they still got a shot.
Yes, sir.
So Boise, the Broncos took the Fresno State series 2-1 in Game 1. Kate Penberthy's 2-run homer sparked a 5-3 comeback there again in the 5th inning and beyond. Game 2, you saw Kaylee Vieira's pinch hit RBI single. That won it 3-2. That was more of a small ball contest, a lot of chess on the base paths there. And then game 3, Fresno finally decided that they wanted to win a game. So the Broncos let them have one, and Fresno takes the finale 7-1. Lola Ray McNamara, she was honored the Mountain West Pitcher and Freshman of the Week. She was absolutely lights out from the circle. She pitched 12.1 innings. She finished this last week with she's the first pitcher to get bookend saves in a doubleheader. What they did last Tuesday against Sac State. She got both saves in both those games. First pitcher to do that since 2020 for Boise State. During that last week stretch, she went 2-0. She had those 2 saves, and she had a combined .57 ERA.
Dominating.
Yes. And on top of that, Lula is leading the NCAA with 28 plus appearances as a freshman. And then next up is Colorado State, where they have won 10 straight in Fort Collins. That's where they're going to be tomorrow. They start that 3-game series. Make sure that you keep up to date with all of our outlets at Bronco Nation updates for those game times. And then on the Bronco Nation social pages, each day you're going to get an update on the game time and then the scores and all that. So great place to get all your updates is with us. This team wins late, wins gritty, and wins on the road. Exactly what you want heading into conference play.
Get out, watch some softball, sit in the outfield. So fun. We take our kids. They have a blast. The kids run around and throw stuff, and it's just super, super fun to see that atmosphere.
Yeah. It's
also another one to go watch if you get a chance is the esports team. They are idle this week, but they have been nationally dominant all season. This is one of these programs that continues to show dominance, and Doc is just awesome at what he does, and I think really grows the program in an amazing way. Fastest growing competitive arena on campus, no doubt, and already a national brand. This season, 39-10 overall, 11-1 in conference, and locked up the top seed for the PEC, the Power Esports Conference Championships, coming up here soon. 6 national championships on this team, 15 conference titles, more than 1,500 wins. They do get back in action on March 28th, a couple days from now, hosting Utah State. Just a shout out for the Boise State esports team. They also announced the esports summer camp, good for both high schoolers and middle schoolers. That kicks off on June 1st through June 5th for middle schoolers and June 8th through the 12th for high schoolers. And it's an alternating 4-week thing between the middle and the high schoolers. Really cool. Awesome to see that program growing. So traditional sports, digital sports, Boise State is showing they can compete at just about anything.
Yeah. And really, we really love to have Doc on the show. Actually, anyone in the esports, they're awesome to have on. They're kind of like the beach volleyball team. They've got a lot of energy, a lot of wisdom in the craft that they have. And, esports I believe is going to be, one of those big time sports that bring in a lot of dollars. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I'm glad that we have Doc at the helm, and we're basically the Alabama of esports, and right here in Boise, Idaho. It's awesome.
Crazy. It is awesome. Fitting for a tech valley. Yeah.
Well, I call this time of year in spring kind of like I call it the big tease. We're about 3-4 months removed of football. And so you got the pro day and you've got spring camp here. And so that ramps up, and then after the spring game in April, then it kind of just shuts down, and then you got to wait for another 4 months or so. But
too long.
Right. So let's talk a little football. NFL scouts don't lie. When you test like this, you get drafted. So we got a couple things going on here in Boise, Idaho, the mecca of college football, the home of the iconic blue. There's nothing like it, and there's no place that we'd rather be than right here in the city of trees.
If I'm not mistaken, ranked #1 sports attraction several years now, right?
Yeah, it's not even close. Not
USA
even
Today?
close.
Big
Yep.
time.
Not even close. And the biggest form of flattery is imitation, and that's why you see other football programs out there with different colored fields, and we give them permission to do that, and rightfully so. But right now we had two things going on here in the Treasure Valley. You had the NFL Pro Day that happened on Tuesday on the 24th. You had NFL scouts in town. The main attraction was Cage Casey. He's undoubtedly at least a draft pick in the 2026 NFL draft. He got 20 reps on the bench and posted a 31-inch vert, and got to interview with a few teams. So really good. I think there was at least 3 teams that were interested in him. So that's always a good sign when you have teams that want to talk to you one-on-one, have dinner with you. Coming into last season, there was talks about him being a top 25 pick. I still feel like he should be in the top 2 rounds. The guy never had a real offensive penalty, except for one time. I think he finally got like a hold or something in this season. Other than that, it was like a personal foul. He stood up for like a quarterback and pushed somebody down in the end zone. But that is unheard of, to not even have a play-related penalty all throughout your career until your senior year. But you never know. There may be some people that are playing coy, but I do expect him to get drafted probably in the first 4 rounds. Hopefully that
Cage is kind of one of these examples of go watch the tape, because you will see what he's capable. His pro football numbers are insane. You were pointing out some of the stats, and people can go look those up on their own. But as a stats guy, I appreciate good stats, and he is lined on the top on just about everything. So 20 reps on a bench, take that for what it's worth. NFL scouts are smart enough. They know you have a bad day. Everybody's got him. We had the best, and I will say the best college football running back last season, hands down. Look at what he went through this year. It wasn't the greatest year, but everybody's going to have a down day. Cage, maybe you can chalk it up to that. He didn't look happy when he got off the bench. I can tell you that. He looked a little frustrated. So that's a good sign. You want a guy showing emotion in that moment. You want to see, okay, he's got some fire in him. We all know that. He always has. So I think first two rounds is still doable, and always good if they're talking to you instead of talking about you. So that's good for him.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of talking about you, probably the talk of the country was Braxton Feely.
Let's go, Brax.
38 reps on the bench. By far, probably the most around the country, combine, probably pro days, just showing his elite interior strength. For an undersized guy, this is exactly what you want to do. You want to go in and you want to snip about you, and you want that to go viral, and I'm sure that it did. So congratulations, Braxton. You deserve this, man. You went in there and you proved to the country that you deserve a look. And so I think he's going to get a good look. If he doesn't get picked up in the late rounds, I'm sure he'll get to pick between all of the free agent offers that he gets, and he can pick the perfect spot for him, just kind of like what George Halani did and some of the other Broncos that we've seen in the past. that's a good position to be in when you can pick your situation. You can't ask for better than that.
I mean, and these guys, all they're asking for is a shot. And I think Brax just got his shot with that show of strength. And in true Bronco fashion, just always pushing just a little bit more. I think he pointed out he actually had 40, but they discounted 2 reps. So, man, go Brax. I hope he gets it.
Yep. The big star of the whole day, though, for me was Zion Washington. Just had a lights out day. He posted a 41.5 vert, which is just insane. He literally told the guy who was putting up the measurable to knock a few out because he was gonna wipe those out, and that guy he's part amphibian.
It's unreal.
Jumping like a frog, man.
Unreal.
And then not only that, then he also posted a 4.3940, and he turned heads with his explosive testing and strong overall pro day, man. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that. So I think he'll probably find himself in the same kind of situation that Brax is, and be able to pick and choose where he's going to be. Probably get a lot of offers just for some, at least at the minimum, some special teams work out there. But he's also a great safety too. So he can
completely.
I think he'll bless whoever offers him a free agent.
And so many of these guys, I mean, I think we can all be realistic. We're not looking for first round, second round type stuff, but just a chance, right? And you look at like somebody like Jeremy McNichols, who got his chance, George Halani, who got his chance, former Broncos that just proved, just give them a shot. And again, they're not maybe Hall of Fame numbers, but those are guys that have long careers that keep working at it. They can inspire a lot of kids with just, here's the grit that's needed to do it. And good for all these guys that may not get drafted first, second round to at least get a shot. I remember.
But isn't that the Bronco way? It's like, completely. As long as you just give them an opportunity, and you know what, they'll show up, and it's always earned, never given.
Completely. And that's been true. That's the pedigree of Boise State. Always has been, always will be.
Yep. We also saw Jeremiah Irby. He posted a 4.4440. So he looked pretty swole out there. I think he put up a better pro day than Caleb Bickers did a few years ago, and Caleb got on with the Cleveland Browns back a couple of years ago. So I expect Jeremiah to pick up a free agent offer, maybe to play in a practice squad and get an opportunity. I think he's got the size and the speed to do it. He looked really good out there. He looked like a specimen, and that's kind of he met the eye test. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, eye test. I think is what I've saw quite a bit on social media, was this guy passing the eye test. So that's good for him.
Unfortunately, Amarion McCoy, he's coming off that injury. He didn't get to do a lot, but I'm hoping that the scouts look at his tape. They know what he did last season and his whole career, and take the whole big picture of his career, where he came from and how he left the Mountain West, and some championships on his belt from where he came from, Lane College, and I think he'll get a shot too. And then I think we're going to get a big surprise with Matt Lauder. I think even though he didn't put up a lot of numbers in his senior season, basically because of the just the way that the offense was ran, I think I measure him kind of like with the John Bates. Didn't have a lot of numbers in his career at Boise State. I believe Matt had more than John, but I think there's going to be a franchise out there that's going to need a tight end, and we'll remember people like John Bates, who's actually has a nice career with the the Washington team. So
Yeah. Matt Lauder, it's what I call carve out guys. NFL scouts know the offense these guys are coming from. Injuries. I think I saw today that Boise State was the 15th most injured team this last season and still had a winning record, go on to win the conference. Most teams in that category had losing records. So scouts will see that. Lauder he's a beast. We all know he can play. You get a tough situation with a quarterback that goes down. Just the way the Boise State offense has been the past couple of years, he'll be fine. I bet he'll get some looks, and he put up some good numbers yesterday, so I'm excited for him.
Yeah, and from what I heard, he impressed the NFL scouts, and that's a good thing. He passes the eye test, and they'll go through the tape. They'll see some of these plays and what he does. Not only what he did this last year was he did a lot of the John Bates things on the line.
Completely.
It gave Mad Dog the time to make those throws until he got injured, and then after that, it was really run heavy, and they really needed him to shore in the edges there and give Max enough time to breathe and not get creamed, and let the jet and Gaines do all the work.
Which is all. I mean, I hate to say it. For a tight end looking to go pro, a blessing in disguise to have to showcase your talent in other areas than just catching little 5 and 10 yard dunks, to be able to show that you can. Other tight ends don't get that opportunity. So again, don't want to wish any injuries on any guys, but take advantage when the moments come up. And I think Lauder has done that as well as he could at a Boise State over the past couple of years.
Yeah, and I just measure it from him and John Bates, and I think Matt's done more. He did more in his career than John did, and that's not to take anything away from John. I mean, John's awesome. He's got a great career, but that's just kind of the way that it works sometimes, especially at Boise State. You never know how the scheme's going to go, and some of these, some of our best players don't get all the glamour, but you know what? They're just winners, and they, it goes back to everything's always earned and never given.
Completely.
Yep. So Boise State continues to put pros into the league, and this class is no exception.
Excited for the spring season. It's exciting. I do like the move to after spring break. I feel like that's a good move. I don't know why. I don't have any technical analysis on that, but it just feels like a good move. So excited for Bronco football. For
runners like me, that pushes it away from the race to Robie Creek. So the people that because it usually lands on the same day, so it's like you either pick the game or you pick the race. And the last few years, I've picked the game. So
true, it's a good community move, no doubt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of elite, women's basketball up next this year. Elite shooters, the nation took notice, no doubt, especially with Natalie Pasco. She was selected for the 26 Celsius Women's 3-Point Championship on ESPN, which is just awesome to see the women getting some accolades that they very much deserved. To have 4 seniors go out this way, it was just awesome to watch them. She is the first Bronco under Gordy to earn an invite. She shot 43.7% from 3-point range this year, which was good enough for 11th nationally. She finished with 1,571 points, 275 of the three-point variety. Pretty amazing. Not to be lost in all of the accolades and amazing athletic ability is the academic side for Boise State, which I worked for Boise State as a regional math specialist for a while, and to see the academic side still being focused on in and amidst all the NIL stuff, good for BSU. So they did earn several academic all-district honors. Maya Hansen with a 4.0 GPA. She had 145 assists and was also part of that 1,000-point club. Libby Hutton, 10.6 points per game, Mountain West All-Tournament team. And again, Pasco with a 3.75 GPA and just elite shooting numbers. So great for the women's team to rebuild as they've done over the past couple of years, and to see a man as deserving as Gordy Presnell get some of those girls to stay 4 years. So happy for that team and for him.
And we had all 4 of the fantastic seniors on our Bronco Talk Show, and you could tell who the major scholars are, and all of them are very smart. Maya Hansen, very thorough and coming on the show, and so it doesn't surprise me. She has a 4.0 GPA. Man,
Phenomenal.
Smart as a whip. Yeah.
That's awesome. And just, I don't know them personally, but from all the stuff you hear and around the campus and the community, legit human beings, which again, I feel like is another Boise State thing. So good for the women's team all around. On the men's side of thing, Dominic Parolin earned his academic all-district as well. Came in a weird role, but honestly was just one of those guys that you could always count on a few points and a few rebounds here and there. A little bit up and down now and then, but strong comeback season after the injuries from last year. So excited for him to see academic all-district. That's really cool. But as we all know, the big news as of last night, today, RJ Keene moving on from Boise State. What can you say? A guy that stuck around and very deservedly earned the glue guy credit all these years, did all the intangibles, all the things that you could say about him. But RJ is moving on from Boise State, and a lot of speculation as to what that means for the Boise State program and what Coach Leon Rice is doing with the team. I know he's in a rough spot with a lot of pressure being put on from a lot of different angles. So the question, I guess, is RJ Keene's departure a sign of Leon Rice going in a certain direction with the roster? Was it just time for RJ to say, I want to finish up somewhere else? I think a lot of us are hoping that he's going to go play with Howie, which would be really cool for the family. Shout out to RJ Keene's family, some of the coolest people on planet Earth, and just their support for Boise State the past several years has been truly top notch. And so happy for RJ, but I think it does bring up a lot of questions as to what this means with this team moving forward.
Right. And, it's been a blessing to have the platform that we have at Bronco Nation Updates. I've seen the Keene family always supportive of the basketball team. I know his grandma's always very interactive in there. So, and the way that the, college athletics is right now, it's a pressure cooker. Just as much pressure as putting on a coach. It's also on players who leave. And sometimes, sometimes these look like, it's the player that wants to leave. But you know what? In these times, the coaches also have important decisions to make. They also have leverage to, make the decision not to bring a player back the next year. So before, I see a lot of fans going in there and crushing some of these athletes, and they don't know the whole picture. I don't know the whole picture. So do you think it's, as a fan like myself, is it all right to speculate maybe this isn't RJ, wanting to transfer for a bag or whatever? Maybe this is just a situation where, Coach Leon Rice is feeling the pressure. So he's making a decision and clearing up roster spots to try to get the best out of a roster that he is after going through such tremendous pressure nowadays.
Yeah. This is where you have to put the fan hat to the side. I'm going to leave my hat on for now so we don't see the gray hair that we referenced earlier. But it's hard to analyze the situation with a level head, because I think most of us fell in love with RJ Keene. I think we fall in love with guys that love the program, or that at least outwardly say they love the program. And RJ didn't just say it. He showed it day in, day out. Put all the garbage from earlier this season behind. I never took that for anything other than just college kids having fun. I truly believe RJ fell in love with Boise State. And my heart breaks for Leon Rice if he was in a position to have to make that decision. As you pointed out, it's a business now. This is no longer kids on scholarships that you sign for 4 years, graduate them, and off into the world they go. You get guys like Leon Rice that have to, it's very uncomfortable to talk about out loud, but decisions have to be made at this point, because Leon, he's got a job to do too. And all the pressure in the world Boise State's in a unique spot because we are a football school. I think we all know that, but we're like dabbling in that basketball world. We have been for a long time. And I think I've been in a lot of chats here and there. I remember clearly a long time ago, the Rod Jensen days and Greg Graham days, and love both those guys. But the excitement under Leon Rice on day one of every season, I'm sorry, as a 35-year fan, it's a lot higher now than it ever was in those days. And so that's a lot of pressure for Leon Rice, no doubt. And coming from a program like Gonzaga, where I think we all just expected, oh, he's an acolyte of few, he's going to take Boise State to Gonzaga Heights. And that was never realistic. So I do think he's in a tough spot, and I'm not going to speculate on what he did or didn't do. We all know he loved RJ. The whole community did. But Leon's got some tough decisions to make right now, and I can not imagine the pressure that he's getting from some of the uppers in our community.
Yeah, and big picture, he's it's been about 4 years since they won a conference championship, and that's the goal every year, right? And so there's a tremendous amount of pressure on him. So again, that it's a hard thing for fans nowadays, and actually in cohesiveness for a fan base, is because you want to love and support these student athletes, but realistically they are now basically pro athletes with the NIL game. But aside from that, do you think that perhaps RJ has a shot at maybe one of the Mountain West teams? Remembering, oh man, this guy was so tough against us. Maybe he'd be a good fit for our team.
It wouldn't shock me to see him end up in a Mountain West program, although I don't know. I guess at my heart, I still believe he loves Boise State, and I think he'd have a hard time going to a program that we competed against for so long. Again, my fan hope, my feel-good emotional hope is that he runs off with Howie and they run their program up there into a NCAA tournament bid. That'd be really cool. Be great for his family to watch them play together. But analytically on a basketball front, he is an intangible dude that everybody wants somebody like that on their team because, man, I think we all know the save and the timeout and the fired up nature that a guy like that can bring to a basketball team who needs somebody like that. Boise State can't get by with 5 lengthy, athletic, freakish athlete guys. They got to have the RJs every year. Last year it was Al Cardenas. Like, he was the guy that fired up the crowd with just his next level ability to speed up a game, to dive headfirst into a seat, to whatever he had to do. RJ was that dude, and that's attractive in the Mountain West. It's a physical basketball conference. So we'll see. I do hope he ends up somewhere where he gets playing time. I hope it's not a runoff and sit on a bench and be a cheerleader. But wherever he goes, I think he just brings a personality to teams that's wherever he ends up will be appreciated.
I call those kind of dudes the special sauce. We had that with Najee Smith a few years ago.
That's right.
And those type of players just bring the intangibles. They are glue. I call them the oil in the machine, because they're everywhere. In between there, they're bringing that cohesiveness. And now with him gone, they're going to have to find somebody who has that type of leadership and that kind of juice, because you got to have at least one of those types of people, because you saw it with Najee Smith. He was on that team that got the double straps with Tyson Degenhart. You had a couple, 2 good, great talents, and then you put in a guy that has the juice, and you're almost unstoppable. So hopefully they can find a great replacement for him. And I think that this might happen. This could be one of the scenarios. Is either he calls it good, because I do feel like he is a very loyal Bronco, and if something doesn't work out, just to call it good and ride into the sunset, or like you said, go to Montana State and be with Howie and rip it up there. So,
Cool.
I wish nothing but the best for RJ and the Keene family. Thank you for everything that you've brought to our platforms. And as I say with all of our student athletes, strive tenaciously until your dreams come true.
That's right.
They will.
If he does end up at Montana State, I hope he gets a little bit more of a green light, because I do wonder if he had more shooting green light, I guess, to put it into those terms. I'd love to see him. I think I read that he had 10-point game at his whole time at Boise State, which kind of blew my mind. I figured there would have been another one in there at some point, but he, I would say, led to far more than 10 points in many games over his time here. And so, again, like you said, wherever he ends up, strive tenaciously, go for it. RJ, I hope the world for him. Truly, he's such a cool dude.
Well, my friend, thanks for the short notice. Come up here. You did a great job. Really appreciate you.
Happy to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it this week for this week's Bronco Nation Live. A special thanks for you again, Josh. And thank you, Bronco Nation, for tuning in for the show. It's always a privilege for us to serve you. Please go subscribe to the Bronco Nation Updates YouTube channel. And to get all your updates and recruiting news, we'll see you.
Community matters, and Blue Elevation proves it. Partnering with Boise State athletes, we bring joy to families in need. Like our Christmas on the Blue Outreach, blessing children from the Boise Rescue Mission. Together with Bronco Nation, we spread cheer, hope, and support at home and abroad. Blue Elevation, where community and compassion meet. Give at bronconationupdates.com/become.